Hello dear students. In today's class, let us calculate the moment of inertia due to a solid sphere. We will specifically look into the moment of inertia of this sphere about two axes. The first axis passes through the diameter of the sphere. So about this axis, the sphere is making rotations. And then we will calculate the moment of inertia about an axis which is tangential to the sphere and parallel to the first axis. So let us begin with this axis passing through the diameter of the sphere. To find the moment of inertia, we will have to calculate the mass per unit volume of the sphere, as we have done for many other cases before. So mass per unit volume is defined as mass by volume of the sphere. Let m be the mass of the sphere, capital M be the mass of the sphere, and capital R be the radius of the sphere. Then we know the volume of the sphere is given by 4 by 3 pi r cube. Therefore, the mass per unit volume, which is rho, can be defined as m divided by 4 by 3 pi r cube, which is equal to 3m divided by 4 pi r cube. To calculate the moment of inertia of the sphere about this axis, we assume that a sphere is composed of discs like this that are placed at different distances from the origin or from the center of this disc. So you may imagine it like this. This is the sphere, and the sphere is made up of discs like this of thickness dx, but the radius of each of the discs is different. For example, a disc at the center will have higher radius. This is that disc. And a disc at the edge will have smaller radius. So the whole sphere is composed of small discs like this, and the discs have various radius. The radius of each of the discs will depend on the position of this disc from the center or from the origin. So this is the cross-sectional view of such disc. We have chosen a particular disc here, which is at a distance x from the origin. Now let us calculate the moment of inertia due to this disc alone. And from our basic knowledge, we know that if you are able to define the moment of inertia of this disc, then we can integrate for all the discs that are present inside this sphere to find out the total moment of inertia. Now, what is the mass of this disc? To find out that, we will have to find out the volume of this disc. So this disc can be assumed to be of uniform radius, even though this edge is slightly falling down, slightly curved. We can assume that if the thickness is very small, this is of uniform radius. And what is this radius of this disc? Let us denote that radius by y. It should be noted that the radius of this disc is not the radius of the sphere, capital R. Capital R and the radius of this disc are different, because here you can see this corresponds to the radius of the sphere, and this is also the radius of the sphere. But here we have to find out the radius of the disc, which is the distance from this particular point up to here. So the radius of the disc should be denoted by y, and it is not the same as the radius of the sphere, which is r. These are different quantities. So let us try to define the y value, which corresponds to the radius of the disc that we have considered inside the sphere. So since this disc is at a distance of x from the origin, we can use the Pythagoras theorem to define y. This is a right triangle, and from the Pythagoras theorem, we can see the hypotenuse square, which is the radius in this case, radius of the sphere in this case, r square is equal to x square plus y square, which implies y is equal to root of r square minus x square. So this is the radius of the disc. Now you can see that this radius depends on the x value. That means if the disc is at a different distance from the origin, it will have a different radius. So that is contained in this equation itself. So if it is at another x, its radius will be different. So it is quite obvious that the radius will differ depending on the x value. Now what is the volume of this slice? So since this is assumed to be a disk of uniform radius, its volume can be written as its area, which is pi y square, multiplied by its thickness, which is dx. That is the volume of this small disk. Volume of the sphere is 4 by 3 pi r cube. But here we have considered a disk. The volume of the disk is its cross-sectional area, which is pi y square, multiplied by its thickness, which is small, and it is equal to dx. Now substitute for the y value here. This is equal to pi into, instead of y square, I can write r square minus x square into dx. So this is the volume of this small disk. Now, if you are given with the volume, you can calculate the moment of inertia due to this particular disk. Therefore, the mass of the slice or mass of the disk is equal to rho into volume, where rho is the mass per unit volume. Multiply by volume, you will get the total mass of the disk. So that is equal to pi rho into r square minus x square dx. Now, having obtained this value of mass of the disk, it is quite easy to find out the moment of inertia of this disk. So now you see that the axis is like this. It passes through the center of this disk and the axis is perpendicular to the plane of the disk. So in this picture, this is the axis. This axis passes through the center of the disk and it is perpendicular to the plane of the disk. In that case, the moment of inertia of the disk is given by its mass into its radius, which is y in this case, my square divided by 2. So that is the moment of inertia of the disk in this case. So when substitute for that, we have the mass of the disk and we have the radius, which is again y. So substituting for that, moment of inertia of the disk is equal to mass of the disk multiplied by radius of the disk, which is y square divided by 2. Now the mass of the disk is pi rho into r square minus x square dx. And again y square is again r square minus x square whole divided by 2. So this is equal to pi rho into r square minus x square the whole square dx divided by 2. You can expand this square term using the formula of a minus b the whole square. Okay, now let me make one point clear for you. Here, to find out the moment of inertia of this disk, we used the equation my square by 2. In the case of the cylinder, we used another equation. Here, you can see, there too we considered a disk inside this cylinder, but where we used the equation mass of the disk, which is dm, into its radius r square divided by 4. This was the equation used in this particular case. So you just compare these two equations. Here the axis is passing through the diameter of the disk. That is why we used this equation for the moment of inertia of the disk. In the case of the cylinder, the axis passes through the center of the disk and it is perpendicular to the plane of the disk. That is why we use the equation mr square by 2 to find the moment of inertia of the disk. So you compare these two equations differently and understand how they differ from each other. Now we have obtained the moment of inertia due to this disk. What is left is to find out the total moment of inertia of this whole sphere. As we have said, the sphere is composed of plenty of disks like this of varying radius, varying y values. And these disks actually extends from minus r up to plus r. So here we have a small disk, then again a small disk, and so on. So these disks constitute the whole sphere, and as you can see, the disk actually spans the space from x equal to minus r up to x equal to plus r. So to find the total moment of inertia, you will have to integrate this moment of inertia of the disk over a distance from minus r up to plus r, where minus r and plus r are the variation in x. X varies from minus r up to plus r. Or equivalently, in a simple manner, from the basics of integration you already know, minus r to plus r f of x dx. If the function is symmetric, you may write it is 2 times 0 to r f of x dx. If the function is an even function, you may write like this. So here we have an even function inside here. Whole square function is an even function. So instead of doing the integration from minus r up to plus r, an easy method is to do the integration from 0 to r and multiply the result by 2. Otherwise, you will have to deal with more number of terms. 0 will make substitutions more easy. So let us do this integration. So let me write. This is the moment of inertia due to disk. So no integration should be done here. To find out the total moment of inertia of the sphere, let us integrate this term from minus r up to plus r, or from 0 to r, and multiply by 2. This into pi rho r square minus x square whole square dx divided by 2. So this 2 will cancel out. Now this is equal to integral from 0 to r pi rho into r raised to 4 minus 2 r square x square plus x raised to 4 dx, where I have expanded this term r square minus x square the whole square. Now doing the integration part, this is equal to pi rho into r raised to 4 dx. Integration is r raised to 4 multiplied by x. R raised to 4 is a constant. So integral 0 to r dx is simply x minus 2r square into integrating x square, we will get x cube by 3 plus integrating x raised to 4, we will get x raised to 5 by 5, and the limit is from 0 to capital R. Now this is equal to pi rho into r raised to 5 minus 2r square into, instead of x substitute capital R cube by 3 plus r raised to 5 by 5. These are the terms that we get when we substitute capital R into these terms, minus 0. The lower limit is 0. When we substitute 0 here in this term, you will get 0. Now let us simplify this term. Pi rho into r raised to 5 minus 2 by 3 r raised to 5 plus r raised to 5 by 5. Now this is equal to pi into, instead of rho, let me substitute 3m divided by 4 pi r cube into, taking r raised to 5 as common, we get r raised to 5 into 1 minus 2 by 3 plus 1 by 5. So this is equal to 1 pi term will cancel out. 3m divided by r cube and r raised to 5 will cancel to give an r square here. So 3m r square divided by 4 into 15 into 15 minus 10 plus 3. Simplifying this fraction, we will get 3m r square by 4 multiplied by 8 by 15. So cancelling out certain terms, 5 and this is 2. We will get 2 by 5 m r square. This is equal to 2 by 5 m r square, where capital M is the mass of the sphere and capital R is the radius of the sphere. So this is the moment of inertia for a sphere about an axis that is passing through its diameter. Moment of inertia I is equal to 2 by 5 m r square. We obtain this by considering several disks inside the sphere and integrating over all the possible disks from minus r up to plus r. So this is the moment of inertia corresponding to the center of mass, the axis passing through the center of mass. Center of mass of the disk of the sphere is at its center if the sphere is of uniform density. So now, having obtained this equation for this moment of inertia corresponding to the axis passing through the center, it is quite easy to find the moment of inertia for an axis passing through the tangent of the sphere. So moment of inertia about its tangent. For that, you may use the parallel axis theorem. I will be ICM plus mass into the distance square. Here the distance between these two axes is the radius itself. So I equal to ICM, which is 2 by 5 m r square, because that is the axis which passes through the diameter of the sphere, plus the mass of the sphere into the distance square. Now this is equal to 7 by 5 m r square. So as you can see, this moment of inertia is greater than the moment of inertia about the axis which passes through the center of mass. So it will be difficult to rotate a sphere about this tangential axis, and it is easier to rotate a sphere about an axis that passes through its middle point, its center point. I hope this calculation part is clear for you, how to calculate the total moment of inertia of the sphere, and the integration is clear for you. Thank you.